Hey everybody, and welcome to Comics from the Future. I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
And we're here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. And this is our show. We're going to show you some of the biggest and best books that you can pre-order this weekend. Your orders are due Sunday at 9 o'clock. So anytime before then, you can get them in. So you don't miss out on some of the best books that you'll definitely want. And you won't go into your store and be like, where's all the books? And they'll say, you should have pre-ordered them. That's what we're here for. And just show you some of the awesome stuff coming up. So before we get started, I did want to show off this. You've heard us talking about it. This is the Fear the Funhouse Toy Box of Terror from Archie Comics, and this is our Infinity Flux store exclusive. It has our logo down at the bottom.
It's so good to see that right there.
So these are still available for pre-order. You can just head right on to infinityflux.net right now. It's right there on the home screen and get it just in time for Halloween. So very, very cool. Cover by me.
Yep.
Not to pat myself on the back, but
you should. I'll pat yourself on the back because that's awesome. Yeah.
Thank you, Slave. No, it's really awesome. I'm very happy how these came out. So head over there right now and pick yourself up a copy. And you can use our 10% off code for that, but we'll be talking about that a little later on in the show. But let's get going into the goodness, starting with our featured comics.
So we're going to start with Superior Spider-Man #1. So this week, we got Superior Spider-Man Returns. That's kind of a one-shot leading into Superior Spider-Man, the ongoing series, which is what this is. This is going to be released on November 15th, at least for right now. And in this one, Spider-Man is going to face a new villain, the villain that we saw in Superior Spider-Man Returns. I want to see what his reaction is. Like, who are you and why are you mad at me? I didn't do anything. But while he's doing that, Doc Ock is going to make a life-changing discovery. One of our big questions from Superior Spider-Man Returns was, is Doc Ock going to put himself back in Spider-Man's body again? We don't really know. That didn't happen in Returns, but it might happen in this. So we don't really know what the overall story of this is going to be.
Yeah.
But we do know that there is that new villain that we met in Superior Spider-Man Returns. Supernova, yep. And Spider-Man is going to be super surprised when she shows up. But just more. I'm game for any new Superior Spider-Man stuff. So yeah, this is going to be a new ongoing series, and it should be really fun. So we have our A cover right here. We also have our Aurantia suit. This is one of the suits you can get in Spider-Man 2 that's coming up real soon. We have a Humberto Ramos variant, and then we have a really cool Scotty Young variant as well.
Now, can't remember if they brought it up right after Superior. Does Peter remember anything of being in, or for Doc Ock being in his body? Does he have any memories of that?
I don't remember.
Because he was kind of a ghost in the back of Doc Ock's mind during that.
I don't remember. I think he does because I think he knew Anna Maria when he came back. I think because he had to break the news to her. He's like, "Listen, I'm not who you thought." So I think he does.
Maybe he will remember this.
Maybe.
Supernova
yeah,
character.
It could be. That's possible. I didn't think about that.
I'm excited to see what happens in this. Okay, next up is a new Star Wars one-shot. It's going to be kind of a series of one-shots, but this first one is Star Wars Visions Peach MOMOKO. And much like the Visions series on Disney+, each one-shot is going to be kind of spearheaded by a writer, artist, creator who get to tell how did they say it? Untethered to previous Star Wars storytelling. So they kind of get to tell their own version of the Star Wars universe in this. And they picked Peach MOMOKO to kick this off, which I think is perfect. Her story in the Visions issue before was like a very surreal, like a TIE fighter was a big eyeball. It's really cool. So I think this could be great. And it looks like it's going to be a series of one-shots by different people. I'm not sure who the next ones are. But in this one, it says centuries after the death of a major Sith Lord, they had a cult, the cult called Uncock. A dark side servant feels it is she's the rightful successor to lead this cult. Um, but is she going to come up against some resistance in that? Plus, there's a girl named Keiko and her droid Gel are fated to confront this new evil. So setting up a pretty cool little version of the universe. I like how it's similar but different,
Yeah.
using some of the same elements but in new ways. So if you're a fan of Peach Momoko, you're a fan of Star Wars, or these kind of almost like a what if tale, I think this one's going to be really good. And I can't wait to see what this whole series is going to bring. So, of course, we've got our A cover here by Peach Momoko. We have a B cover. This is by CAMUNCOLI, which is really
Oh yeah,
interesting.
nice.
And then we have a C cover by Stan Sakai,
Oh,
which I
okay.
mean, I'd love to see Stan Sakai do
Yeah.
his own story. So really cool in there.
Is a TIE fighter that's an eyeball? Is that an eye fighter?
It might be an eye fighter.
That would be.
That's like if Apple sold TIE fighters, they'd be eye fighters.
Oh yeah, that's right. All right, so next up is Superman 78, The Metal Curtain #1. This is going to be a 6-issue miniseries that comes after the Superman 78 miniseries that wrapped up last year, I think.
Yeah.
You know, this is the continuity that follows along with the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. And this is a brand new story. This is written by Robert Venditti with art by Gavin Guidry, who is the artist on this cover, and I love that look right there. I think
Yeah.
that's great.
Classic.
Yeah. So in this one, Superman has now become a symbol of strength and pride for the American people, but the Soviet Union is working on a symbol of their own. And I think that kryptonite may play a part of this story because the solicitation also mentions that when baby Kal-El was, launched to Earth, part of his planet came with him. And what happens when that gets into the wrong hands, that kind of thing. Plus, it's just right there on the cover
It's on
too.
the
So,
cover.
but yeah, I mean, and it almost kind of looks. I mean, you can see it in the background too, like
It's
the
like Lex
green.
Luthor's
Yeah,
suit also
I
in
wonder
the
if they're gonna,
silhouette.
if it's gonna be a combination of maybe some kind of metallo, maybe.
Metallo. I was also thinking Rocket Red,
Yeah.
the
Oh
character.
yeah.
So I like this because they kind of take familiar elements but put them through the filter of
Of
the
Superman
of Superman
78, yeah.
78.
Yeah, so if you like that first miniseries and you want more, we're getting, like I said, a whole brand new 6-issue miniseries in that same continuity. So we have our A cover here by Gavin Guidry, and then we have a Wilfredo Torres cover, and then there is a McFarlane Toys. So you'll see a couple more of these in this show where the covers are the McFarlane Toys figures, but in the poses of like classic
Yeah.
covers or panels or something like
I
that.
hope they sell the car so
Right.
people can do that with their own. It's really cool. Okay, next up, it's Transformers #2. Usually we go over #1s or one-shot stuff on the featured section, but what is bigger right now than the Transformers series that just launched,
Yeah.
Skybound? It was huge at our store, so we had to feature this one. I'm so excited. So in issue 2, not a whole lot of stuff is like revealed. We're still getting, the Decepticons have been unleashed on Earth, led by Starscream. They mentioned Megatron, but
Mhm.
he was kind of like, "Don't mention that name
Yeah,
around
don't
me."
say that name.
So I feel like a big story arc at some point is going to be, the return of Megatron.
Oh, yeah.
And also now that the Decepticons are Earth, they don't really care about like being in disguise or anything
Right.
like that. We saw in the first one, Starscream pretty much made himself known.
Yeah, that last panel was definitely not Saturday morning friendly.
No. So I'm really excited about this one because also you've got Optimus Prime and the other Autobots who are kind of laying low, regrouping all of
Well,
that.
we still haven't seen all of the Autobots that we
Uh-uh.
know are going to be in the series yet, so I want to see those guys.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
Cliffjumper.
So in this one, it also says it's going to feature a surprising first Energon universe appearance, and we are talking about it that it possibly is this Duke from GI Joe on the cover.
I think it is because on the cover to the Duke #1, you can see Starscream in his
Yeah.
airplane mode up above. So that's what I think. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's what I feel like.
I think it's interesting. We were, Void Rivals were like, when is GI Joe going to come into it? But it's more like Void Rivals leads into Transformers, which leads into GI Joe,
Yeah,
rather than Void Rivals having both. I'm sure it'll cross over GI Joe with Void Rivals at some point,
yeah.
but it's kind of a string of appearances. But who knows what other surprises are going to be in this? I'm so excited for this. Can't come soon enough. So we've got our A cover here. And we also have this Afu Chan variant, which is awesome. I love the mid transformations and
Yeah.
everything.
Plus, the reason I think it's Duke too is because there's an incentive variant, which we're not talking about here, but you see Starscream, and then you see the back of a human wearing a jetpack flying at him. And who has jetpacks? G.I. Joe has jetpacks,
Boba
right? So,
Fett.
well, that could be. I like where your head's at. I'd like to see that actually.
Yeah.
So next is Batman number 139. So again, we don't always talk about number ones in the featured comic section. We wanted to spotlight this one because this is the start of a brand new story arc called Mind Bomb. So if maybe you were taking a little bit of a pause on Batman because of Night Terrors and maybe because of the Gotham War, it's time to hop back on because brand new story starts right here. This is going, this does take place, of course, after the events of the Gotham War, where Batman is completely isolated from the rest of the Bat family. And he's also struggling to keep the Zura and Awe personality in check because we know that that's been a big sort of subplot, something that's been going on behind the scenes for a while. But he can't stop, he can't slow down because the Joker is out there haunting the city and taunting Batman. And it's interesting, the solicitation says the new Batman is ready to stop him. I don't really know what that means. I don't know if it's, I mean, obviously it's not like a new it's not like Jace Foxway. It's still Bruce Wayne Batman, but as he let the Zur and all personality come through, and maybe he has a different outlook, maybe he's a little bit more unhinged, like we've seen him go towards so far. I don't know. I don't know what
I
new
know.
means.
So we got an early preview of the Scorched Earth
Oh yeah.
special, and I would say at the end of that, Batman does kind of make a declaration
Okay. Oh,
about
okay.
his self going forward. And I feel like it is a new kind of a new mission statement
Yeah, or
or a
maybe
new
like a new outlook. So it's
new
not a
outlook. I think
yeah.
is not a new character, but a new outlook for Batman
Right.
on the city, on his job, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get your hopes up. Oh, the first appearance of a new Batman. It's nothing like that, but it does say new Batman, and that makes sense. Like a Batman with a new outlook, a
Yeah.
new way he's going to take these guys down. So I think that's really interesting. So I'm really excited because I've been
And
loving this run.
we'll be talking about it real briefly later with a variant, but the Joker, Man Who Stopped Laughing's final issue is here. And
Oh,
so I feel like so Joker's been off for quite a while doing his own thing.
yeah.
That this is working him back into
Mm.
Batman in a big way.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I'm very excited for it. So this is our Jorge Jimenez cover, our interior artist. We have a Delado variant, which looks great. We have a Frank Cho variant. We have a Mike Deodato Jr. artist spotlight variant.
I love how Batman's looking over
You're
Batman.
right. We have another McFarlane Toys. I just love, you take all of these are fun little toys. Now we're gonna recreate Batman's back. And then we have a, bat symbol glitch foil variant. So this looks like it's going to be a wraparound
Yeah.
foil on both sides.
And I
Uh,
wonder what this means. Is it glitch foil? Is that just a new thing they're going to be doing, or does this have some tie with the story?
yeah, I don't know. I mean, in the last issue of Batman, Nightwing sort of disconnected him from his central computer,
Yeah,
which connected into all of his systems. So maybe it's something with that.
I think this is going to be a really good issue for people
Oh,
to check out. And issue 139, we're creeping up to 150. With you know 11 issues after this
yeah.
or whatever. That's going to be a big one.
Yep.
So stay tuned. Okay, next up is one I'm really excited about because I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan. I've pretty much played every console release of Assassin's Creed. I didn't play like the mobile
Yeah.
versions or anything like that, but I've played all the console ones. Big fan. Already got the new one, and I'm very excited about this. So this is Assassin's Creed Visionaries #1, and you can take a lot of from what I said on Star Wars Visions and put it with this to kind of get an idea of what this is going to be about. So in this series gives comic artists complete creative freedom to share their own personal visions of Assassin's Creed. What that means is, especially in this first issue, really big artist Raphael Albuquerque is going to
Mm.
be taking on a story. Huge fan of him, especially American Vampire, all of that. He's going to be telling a story of an assassin chasing Nazi officers hiding in Argentina, and this is an assassin he creates. So they're Ubisoft is giving all these creators. They're not all like writer artists or anything like that. Some are comic people, some are like pop culture people telling stories, and they each get to create their own in canon assassin to
That's pretty
tell
cool.
stories
Yeah.
with. So I think this is really cool. Of course, you got all the time frames to cover. The other story in this is by Stefan Lois. He is a European writer artist who tells a story with assassins set in the future. So just
Ooh.
really cool ideas with this one. I think it's interesting. These main covers show a lot of assassins we know, but it sounds like most of this, if not all of this, is going to be all new characters.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what time frames. I've always had my ideas of like when would be a cool
Yeah.
time frame set.
I used to think when the first game came out, it was mostly set in the past. I always thought that a sequel would be more recent, and then there would be like a fifth or a sixth game set in present day. And we've
Yeah,
never seen this, an assassin in present day or
yeah,
anything like it. So to hear that it's in the future, like that's awesome.
yeah. So I'm very excited about this. We've got some great covers for this one. So the first ones are actually connecting variants. So we've got the A cover, which has Cassandra, who's one of my favorites from Odyssey. Then we have the B cover, which has got some of your recent
Yeah,
ones.
that from Valhalla. Yeah.
Valhalla. I believe you've got Edward Kenway back there. Very cool. Then you've got, of course, Altair and Connor on the last cover. And then we've got some other ones. So we've got a Raphael Albuquerque cover. Very fitting. We have a Luis variant. So that's your artist on the second story, the one set in the future.
Ooh. Oh, and that, yeah, you can kind of see it does look future with like laser knives.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's cool.
Then we have an
I like that.
Altair cover, which I wonder if each of these is going to feature like a big character. I'd love to see an Ezio cover. And then, of course, this is a few dollars more, but you can get the gatefold cover that folds out and has all of those main covers on it.
So it's going to be like back, front, and then the inside of the front's going
Yeah,
to
I think
wrap out
so.
for a
That's
one
usually
big
the
picture.
easiest way to do
Yeah.
it for them.
All right. So next one is a new book called Petrol Head. This is going to be from Image Comics. It's written by Rob Williams and the art is by PARR. This is going to be 42 pages. I believe it's going to be $4.99. Yeah, $4.99. 42 pages. 4-issue miniseries. This is set in a future metropolis that's ravaged by a climate crisis, and it's going to be centered around a 12-year-old girl. I don't believe we have her name, but she is going to essentially team up with, and I'm reading this from solicitation because it sounds hilarious, an old, grumpy, obsolete, smoke belching, cigar chomping, hot rod racing robot. They're going to basically team up and race across the country. They're going to have to outrace the RoboCops that are chasing them with an invention that might just save humanity. So maybe they've got something that's going to fix the world. Maybe somebody doesn't want them to do that. But the covers to this look great. We'll show you these in a second. But we saw some. We looked at some interior
Yeah,
pages.
yeah. We got an early preview to check out the interiors, and it
Yeah,
is
it
awesome.
looks great, and the colors are really good too. Like this one looks really fun. There's a couple pages that I thought looked like Transformers. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not saying it is, but that's what it looked like to me visually. So I'm excited for this one. So we have our A cover right here by PARR. That's our interior artist. There's a PARR green variant, and then there's a PARR purple variant. So you can pick whichever color you like. And then there's a Lawrence Campbell variant as well, which is quite a bit different than the other ones.
I like how, but it still has the title and it has the
Yeah,
creative team on it
that
and
is really
everything.
cool.
It's very cool. Okay, next up we have Amazing Spider-Man issue number 39. So why are we talking about issue 39 Amazing Spider-Man? This is the kickoff point for the new Gang War story. It's going to be a pretty big deal covering Amazing Spider-Man and some other books as well. I think most of them are like miniseries tied in. It doesn't bleed into the main runs of other books too much. Other than this storyline, it's also going to kick off the new Spider Woman series with
Yes.
Spider Woman #1, which I think is really cool. But in this, super crime has taken over New York City after the attack on Tombstone in Amazing Spider-Man 31, and it's kind of thrown the whole New York crime uh,
Syndicate.
syndicate
Yeah.
families, all of that against each other, each vying for the top spot. And so to stop this, Spider-Man is going to put together a team of heroes. I feel like it's like a team of also his best friends
Yeah.
type thing. To each kind of take care of all this. And it says he's going to try to take down all the criminals of New York in 48 hours, which is a pretty big thing considering
Yeah.
that's the most dangerous place in the Marvel universe. But it sounds really cool. There's more characters than even on this cover. You'll see on one of the variants, but you've got Spider Boy in there, Luke Cage. Over the next few weeks, we'll probably be talking about the tie-in books
Yeah.
with it. But we've got Elektra is going to be there, Miles Morales, all these characters you see on the cover and more. But I think this is going to be really cool and definitely going to shake up uh, the villains of New York look for the future. So we've got our A cover here by Romita Jr. We've got a Sean Galloway Saturday Morning one, which I love how Tombstone and Hammerhead look at the bottom of
Yeah.
that, where they look very like Dick Tracy villains. We also have, of course, our Disney special homage cover. This time, of course, homaging Jim Lee's X-Men
And even
#1.
though it does say X-Men, this is Amazing
It's still
Spider-Man number
Amazing Spider-Man.
30.
It's one of the most complicated things about my
Right.
job right now is letting people know that these are not the books they say on the title. We also have, this is the really nice Ryan Stegman wraparound cover. You can get more of a picture if you can see this up close of kind of the players involved in it. But yep, you got Spider-Boy hanging on there to the end of the spider web. So I'm very excited to see how Spider-Boy works into this.
I want to know why Shang-Chi is on the bad guy's side.
Ooh,
He's way over there on the
well,
left.
didn't he's part of he's the leader of that crime family, but
Yeah,
kind of secretly.
he's the leader of the Five Weapon Society, right?
Yeah.
But people think that he's bad, but he's not really. So
Yeah,
that's
and
probably where he is.
his is going to be one of the miniseries
That's
or
right.
one shots
Yeah.
that ties in with it. So all will be revealed once these start coming out. And of course, we also have what they're doing to coincide with the game. This is the tactical suit.
I want to play that suit when the game
That's
comes out.
pretty
Yeah.
cool.
All right, so next is a new book from Boom called ZAWA. This is going to be a 5-issue miniseries. In this one is about a guardian spirit named ZAWA, and I'm pretty sure that's her there on the
Yeah.
cover. She is trapped inside a mountain by pollution spewing factories, just so much like pollution all over the place, keeping her inside. And she only has industrial waste to eat, which has led her to have kind of a bitter existence, paranoia, and destruction. Well, there is a group of siblings from a nearby village. They help her escape, and they learn that the way to her heart is through her stomach. So I guess they're going to give her something yummy to eat. Looks like she's snacking on a really yummy looking popsicle right there. But I guess after eating, toxic waste for however long, anything's probably good to
Her
her.
appearance will kind of change based on that.
Oh,
Her
that's
hair
good.
kind of looks like smog and
Yeah.
everything.
Oh, that's good. I didn't think about that. But yeah, so I don't really know where the story is going to go from there, other than they're just going to help her get out of this terrible place she's living, and they're going to feed her, But I don't really know what's going to happen after that. But it sounds really fun. We have our A cover right here. We also have a Corona variant. I really like that one, and then we have a, FOC Scotty Young cover as well.
Yeah, very cool. She made her look very scary.
Yeah.
Those sharp teeth.
Usually, Scotty Young covers, it's the opposite, where it's something scary on the A cover, but then he makes it look cutesy. But this is the opposite that time.
Okay, next up is a new book, The Deviant. So this is a book from James Tynion. So kind of, I guess he's doing after World Tree. I mean, he's always got like 10 books going at
Yeah.
once. So this sounds really interesting, and this is I would say they call it a pitch black holiday horror. I was about to say a Christmas book, but that may send you in the wrong path.
Well, it's interesting because this is going to come out between Halloween and Christmas.
Yeah.
So
this is your Nightmare Before Christmas,
Right, yeah.
November time. So James Tynion, the art is by Joshua Hickson, and it begins in 1972 Milwaukee. And there's you can see on the cover a blood-stained Santa Claus commits unimaginable atrocities. But jump forward 50 years, and a troubled writer interviews he's called the Deviant Killer, who still proclaims himself innocent from behind bars. I wonder if he says it's the real Santa that did it. I don't know.
It wasn't me. It was one armed man.
But what does this all mean? Don't know. But as Christmas approaches, the past returns in a deadly way. So maybe there's like a copycat person, or as I think it's the real Santa out there doing these ghastly
I think
acts.
so. I mean, what is it? What else are you gonna do with that naughty list?
So it sounds really interesting, and if you know James Tynan, you definitely know what you're in for with style and everything like that. And I bet this is going to do really, really well. This is actually going to be a 9 issue. That's not quite to maxi series, but it's longer than a mini series.
Right.
So
9 is an interesting choice. Usually
it's
it's 10 or 12, but 9 is
it's I guess almost like 3 sets of 3
yeah,
type
it could be.
thing. We'll see how it's structured, but sounds really interesting. We've got one cover for it right here. This is the Joshua Hickson die cut cover. I wish they made some of the incentives open order, but there's some really cool incentives you can see over on our website. Okay, and speaking of the website, before we get to other number ones, we do want to mention you can head over to infinityflux.net right now where you can pre order these books we're talking about. You can follow along, place all your orders there. The regular covers, the variants, any of them, everything that you pre order, you get 10% off of, and you become one of our lovely Pullbox customers that we love so much. And not to mention, you can also use the promo code I love Flux at checkout and get 10% off of your first order. So mix and match those deals, and you've got yourself a good time.
And while you're there, be sure to order this. Our
Yes,
store exclusive. Just wanted to plug that again because it's
yeah,
really cool.
absolutely. So let's get into other number ones.
Starting with BRZRKR Fallen Empire. This is, I believe it's a one shot, and it's going to be a Tale of Bees Past. We've had a couple of one shots about that. But it's going to tell us about the death and the cataclysm that he's brought throughout his life. And it asks the question, what drove him to such violence? The heart is a powerful weapon, and you can see there on the cover there is a lady friend with him. So I wonder if maybe something happens with with a relationship that he's in that sends him over the deep end and makes him start cutting up people. I don't know, but it sounds really fun. The Berserker series is really cool. So we have our A cover right here. We have a Jones variant, and then we have a local comic shop day foil variant by Jenny Frizen. And this one is going to be $12.99,
Yeah,
so a little bit
it's
more
a little bit
expensive.
more, but it's foil. That's
Yeah, it's
usually how they
foil
do
and
it.
it's Jenny Frizen, local comic shop day special, totally worth it.
Okay, next up is one I think sounds really cool. This is called Mortal Terror. This is by Christopher Golden, who you may know, see his name. He's worked a lot with Mike Mignola on Hellboy related properties in the Mignola verse. Also, Tim Leben and Peter Berchting. And in this one, it is basically a reverse Dracula, a reverse vampire tale. So vampires, like Jonathan Harker and Mina Murray, live in underground London, trying to keep their undead city safe from the rumored and fabled mortals that live above. So it's kind of a swap of, you're going to be rooting for the vampires this one
Right,
away from
right.
these scary mortals that live above. But the authorities don't believe them that these mortals exist, and especially the mysterious Count Dracula, who I'm guessing is just going to be a dude, like a live guy. I don't know, but it sounds really cool. I like this idea. What can they play with? Is Van Helsing a mortal hunter
Oh,
instead
could
of a
be.
vampire hunter? We'll have to see,
It's all
but
backwards.
it's all backwards, but it sounds really fun. And of course, so you've got this A cover here. It's really nice. But you also have this Mike Mignola cover where you get a little bit of idea of that underground London that gives a very spooky feeling. And I also wanted to mention this one, which I didn't know this was coming, but they're doing another Alien number one. Feels like they're doing this more in like seasons
Right,
rather than
right.
an ongoing long series. So this is another Alien number one. Uh, also want to bring this up because you need to let your store know if you're enjoying the main Alien series. They may not roll you over to this next Alien series, so let them know that you want to be on this one and future Alien books. This one, it continues to be by Declan Shalvey. The art is by Andrea Brocato. And it says, in this one, everyone will hear you scream,
Oh,
which
that sounds awful.
that's terrible. Um, New story starts here where Wayland Utani the nicest, most upfront company in
Right.
the universe, plans to profit from a world infested with xenomorphs. So sounds really fun.
They've been trying to do that for a long time.
For
Like,
essentially hundreds of
yeah,
years if you
yeah.
go by the timeline. But sounds really cool, and maybe if you missed out on the previous number one, you can jump right on in with this one. We've got our A cover here, and then we have a Ian Bertram variant, which is really creepy. You got his little mouth. I'm gonna bite you with my little mouth. And Miguel Mercado variant as well. And next up, we got notable twos and threes. These are continuations of series maybe that just started or about to start, and we want to make sure you don't miss out on jumping on board the fun train.
So the first one of this section is Batman: The Gargoyle of Gotham #2. The writer and artist both Raphael Grandpa. The first one was really cool. So one of the subplots of this story is that Batman plans to kill off the Bruce Wayne persona as soon as he's done with the case that he's on right now. That is going to give him time to be Batman full time without the strings of Bruce Wayne. So that's his plan, right? But that is going to become more and more difficult because he starts to learn that the current case that he's working on is actually tied to Bruce Wayne's past. And it may be that he needs to keep Bruce Wayne around so that he can investigate this from that angle, right? And as he does get closer to the truth, he realizes that the enemy that he's facing, that their power runs to the very heart of Gotham itself, instead of just controlling a villain here and there. Like, they actually have their claws deep in Gotham. So the first this issue of this was really good. I was really surprised how good it was. And I think this is going to be good too. So we have our Grandpa A cover right here. We have a Delato B cover.
I like this one too because Delato drew Grandpa's version of Batman, so it's got the
Right.
long, slender eyes and
Yeah.
everything. I think it's cool. It's kind of a new Batman
Yeah,
suit.
absolutely. There is a Raphael Grissetti cover. That's the suit right there. And then there's also a Raphael Grandpa foil variant as well. I don't remember if that was like a panel from the book
It's kind
or.
of reminiscent of a panel, but a little bit more rendered.
Yeah, that looks great.
Okay, next up is a book I am loving right now. Did you read issue 2 of Birds of Prey
Yeah,
yet? Really fun book. So this is Birds of Prey number 3, and in this one, the covert team, the Birds of Prey, have just landed on the beaches of Themyscira as they are going to try to retrieve Black Canary's adoptive little sister.
yeah,
So, and it looks like they might be running up against a certain Wonder Woman. I like they even kind of address that in the last one of like, why
yeah.
don't we go tell Wonder Woman? They're like, she could go with us, but if she doesn't, that basically like kills any chance we
Right,
have at
right.
this point. So I love this series so far. 1 and 2 were really fun, great art, and so that continues here. This is our A
And I
cover.
love the stress look of that A cover and how Black Canary is perfectly in
Yeah,
the last. So
which is kind of almost like a noose
yeah, that's
and
great.
just very cool design. We also have this Bachalo variant with I almost want to call her Orphan because that was like her name for a little while,
Right.
but Batgirl Cassandra Cain. And then we have this really nice. This is the Forbes variant as well, showing your team.
And next we have the third issue of Blue Beetle. The first two have been fantastic. I've really been loving this one. So in this one, Jaime turns to Tracy 13 for help deciphering the mystical runes that were left behind by the Blood Scarab at the end of the last issue. But they're exes, so will they be able to work together to piece together the secret history of the Khajiit? So it might be that we learn a little bit more about Blue Beetle himself, and maybe he learns a little bit more about the armor that he's wearing. But the first two issues are great. If you like them, definitely pick this up. I'm going to be getting this. I love this.
I'm a sucker for covers that look like fighting games where you gotta
Yeah.
pick your character.
Uh-huh.
Those always get me.
Yeah, that's great. So that's our A cover, and then we have a Mikkel Janin B cover as well.
Okay, next up we have Fire and Ice. Welcome to Smallville, number 3 of 6. So, continuing this story with Fire and Ice, where they're sequestered to Smallville,
Right.
where they some are having a better time than others. And in this one, Jimmy Olsen comes to town, as you can see on the cover, going in there to get a haircut. And it's up to Fire and Ice to sell him the story of a lifetime. I think part of that story is they have to convince him who's Superman's pal, that everything's good here, and they haven't been causing
Right.
any
Yeah.
ruckus. So they kind of have to like sweep some stuff under the rug so Jimmy sees a happy picture. Plus, these Terry Dodson covers are fantastic. So we got our A cover here, and then we have our Suzumaka variant as well.
Next is the second issue of Cap Wolf and the Howling Commandos #2. The Howling Commandos are trying to figure out what to do because Captain America is now a werewolf. What do we do with him? But a new ally arrives to help him out. Meanwhile, the Nazis that they've been fighting, they do something that could change the tide of battle and the fate of the world. Maybe it's turning everybody into werewolves. I don't know, but yeah, the first issue was super fun. A whole mini series devoted to Cap as a werewolf. I'm on
I
board.
love stuff like this too, where it's just fun. It's
Yeah.
like don't worry about continuity, don't worry
Yep.
about anything. Just read a fun story where like crazy stuff
Yeah, crazy
happens.
stuff happens. You don't need to know anything about anything really. And this is the only cover we're showing right
Only
now.
cover.
Yep.
Okay, next up we've got Daredevil #3. #2 hasn't out yet, is it? We're
No, not
only at
yet. Not
#1.
yet.
So this we're still kind of on the learning what this new series is going to be. But in this one, Daredevil comes face to face with his deadliest enemy. That's what the solicitation says. But if you jump ahead, look at issue #4. It actually talks about Bullseye coming into play.
Yeah.
So that is really Kingpin, Bullseye. Those are some heavy hitters for Daredevil. So I think it's gonna be really interesting to see this new run how they do Bullseye. This is our A cover here, and then we have our this is the Dustin Wynn Knight's End variant. They're teamed up with Moon Knight, and we also have a Kasara variant as well.
Next is Knights #2. The first one came out this week, and it was very interesting. It was set in a world that's very, very different from our own. In this one, Vince takes the long way home from somewhere through the mysterious woods. All that waits for him is blood and teeth and vintage cola. Those three things go together.
Vintage, is that another way of saying stale?
I think like RC Cola.
Okay.
Maybe Tab. Maybe a can of Tab waiting for him. But yeah, this like I said, the first issue was very interesting. Don't really know how they're going to get from where they were at the beginning to the book to the end of the book, but maybe this will give us a few more clues. And this is the only cover.
Yeah, definitely strange and fresh world building in the
Absolutely,
first one.
yeah.
Okay, next up, one I'm so excited about. I cannot wait. This is Giant Robot Hellboy #2. We haven't got #1 yet. I'm sure I'm gonna love it. Sorry, I'm a little biased. I just love everything Hellboy, but this one sounds especially awesome. So Giant Robot Hellboy #2. This is gonna be a 3-issue miniseries, and there's not a whole lot to say about this one. It's more monster smashing on a faraway island as Hellboy's trapped inside of this giant mech version of himself. What you see on the cover is what I'm guessing you're gonna get: giant robot Hellboy versus krakens and
Yeah.
giant monsters. I can't wait. Looks awesome. So this is our A cover here, and then we also have our variant. This is the well, it says Mignola, but this is Jeff Darrow, your Shaolin cowboy artist.
Mm.
Or this is a very complicated looking cover, but if you break it down, you see Hellboy fighting this giant monster in the streets. Very cool.
Next is Creepshow Volume 2, #3. Two more creepy tales. The first two have been fantastic. There's a tale called Eternity, 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 where a woman discovers the fountain of youth and her terrifying journey into eternity. I guess she's going to live forever. Maybe that's not as all as it's cracked up to be. And then there's another story called Sacrifices about a gem heist with a Lovecraftian twist to it. So
Hmm.
I'm sold. Like the Creepshow series is great. I can't wait to read those. We have our Gilliam March A cover right here, and then Zoe Thorogood here. And Zoe Thorogood is actually the writer and the artist on that first story in this book.
Yeah, Zoe Thorogood is a creator where I know she's already won awards, she's made a
Mhm.
name for herself, but still keep an eye out on
Yeah.
her. She is going to be one of the next big things. She's going to be the writer artist on that new Hunt Slash
Yeah.
mini series. That I feel like this is a good one to pick up because she's going to be hot stuff.
Yeah. The minute I saw her name on that, I was like, oh, this is going to
Yeah,
be really,
yeah,
really good.
she's a big get for this. That's awesome. Okay, next up is Hunt for the Skinwalker, #3 of 4. Let me tell you, this book at our shop sold out. We've got so many people subscribed to this. Such a cool concept because it's the way it's presented is less straightforward narrative. It's almost like a
It's like a documentary
it's more of
kind
a
of.
documentary
Yeah.
comic. It's narrated by like a a third person that's not involved type thing. Very very cool about this creepy ranch. And in this one, a mysterious benefactor offers to buy the Skinwalker Ranch. So I think it's the Men in Black who want to buy
Yeah.
it and do some crazy experiments there. But we've got this cool A cover here. And then we also have this Connolly variant.
Next is Midlife or How to Hero at 50, number 2. In this one, Ruben has to choose who to confide in about his special ability. And he has to try to figure out or decide, is he too old to become a hero and reclaim his self worth? And can he integrate this new responsibility of his into his everyday life without ticking off of his family? So, yeah, all kinds of, Ruben's got a lot of choices to make now that he knows that he is the truth, I guess. But yeah, don't miss out the second issue of this, and this is the only cover as well.
Also, I like he's got a little squishmallow down there. It's very cute.
Oh yeah.
Okay, next up we've got cool covers. The name says itself. These are cool
Yep.
covers. We want to make sure you don't miss that you may want to go ahead and pre-order. Starting with Star Wars Dr. Aphra Life Day special cover for Dr. Aphra issue number 38. Now the issue doesn't have to do with Life Day. This is just does sound cool because Aphra is re-teaming up with Santa Staros, which is always a good time when those two are together. And this is a Dark Droids tie-in, but they're doing this series of Life Day specials. I love that Chrysanthemum
Yeah.
is, celebrating Life Day. Very fun one there. And I did also want to bring this up. I wasn't sure where to put this, other number ones or whatever, but this is actually the Star Wars Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary by Chris Sprouse book. And if you remember all those covers that we've been talking about, the Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary that kind of are a scene from the movie, they go in order. I think there's about 40 something of them. They are collecting all of those into a book where it's almost like it's like a picture by picture retelling of
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi with all of those covers featured here. So really cool, especially if you like those covers. Maybe you missed out on getting them all. You can pick them up here. And we've got an A cover for this and a movie poster variant. So it's like you see the movie poster, you open it, and you get the story. Very cool.
Next is Fantastic Four number 13. This is continuing the story of the Fantastic Four on the dinosaur Earth, where everybody on that Earth is a dinosaur, including the Avengers. And in this one, Doctor Doom is going to team up with Dino Doctor Doom from that Earth. And the Fantastic Four are going to have to figure out, they can barely contend with one Doom. How are they going to contend with another one that's also a dinosaur? This is A cup, but we had to show it off because Alex Ross drawing a Dino Doctor Doom is fantastic. So yeah, super duper
Some
cool.
thoughts about this cover. One, who sewed that dinosaur's little hood? That T Rex's hood. And also, if T Rex Doctor Doom is anything like regular Doctor Doom, I think even Doom would let Doom ride on his back.
Yeah, I agree. About the costume. I mean, where did any of the Dino Avengers get their costumes? I mean, Dino Captain America has a big dinosaur-sized shield. Where did that come? I mean, yeah.
We've got to get a whole mini series about where did all
Right.
these
I just want to know the
dinosaurs
logistics of all this. Yeah.
is who made that metal mask and how does it fit on there
Yeah.
so well? It's just a whole lot of questions, but great cover. Next up, we have, like I mentioned earlier, this is Joker the Man Who Stopped Laughing, issue 12. This is our last issue in this series. It's concluding this mini series. And in this one, Joker is facing off against Joker. It's the other Joker that's kind of been the who is these two Jokers, the
Yeah.
whole thing. And you see right here, this Joker's not laughing, not smiling yet, but he's almost got a smirk. And this is the Otto Schmidt variant, which is really cool.
Well, I like that look.
Yeah, he's
with
almost
the collar and the thing and the hair, like
vampire looking.
yeah, maybe that's why. And then next we have Batman Superman World's Finest number 21. In this one, continuing the new story arc of Batman and Superman going into the world of Kingdom Come. They have followed the boy Thunder there, and they find that world is on a path to an apocalyptic future. Can they prevent Boy Thunder from turning into Magog? I have to wait and see. But this is the Crystal Kung DC Holiday Card Special Edition, which I mean, I think you should buy the comic and then fold it in half.
I wonder if it has a little cut sign, so I think it's probably gonna be a cardstock cover that you can
Oh,
fold over. And the thing about this one and the next one you're talking about, the regular issue is not up for order, but this is like a lot of those special
oh,
covers
we have to. I
where
didn't
you have
notice
to,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
you have to pre-order them because they'll probably be a special material that they need a little heads up on. So that's for this one and this next one we're gonna be showing.
Yeah. So the next one is Superman number 8. This is the Jim Lee holiday card variant. Not a foldable one on this one, I guess.
It's gonna be like this way rather than
Oh,
this
okay.
way.
Interesting. So different kinds of card. But yeah, definitely buy both of these. Rip the cover off, and send them to your loved ones. But this one is just going to continue the story of Superman up against the Chained, which it's been really cool so far.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
really
I've been
excited
loving
about
it.
this.
Yeah.
And I think they send comic book stores all these Christmas cards. I would
Oh
love to
yeah.
have like a whole wall of
Yeah, that would be
these.
great.
Okay, next up we've got Poison Ivy number 16, continuing to bring some of the best covers in comics right now. In this one, Poison Ivy is drawn to someone she has wronged in the past. Sounds really interesting, but check out these covers. So we've got our A cover here. Then we have a David Nakayama cover. We've got this awesome Otto Schmidt cover, which I don't know why she looks so scary in this, but she looks like, you're about to die in this these woods. We also have the Mike Deodato Jr. Artist Spotlight variant as well. Just bringing some of the best variant covers in all of
Hmm.
comics with Poison Ivy.
And then next is Shazam number 5, this nice Dan Mora variant. This one, Mary Marvel joins up with the Captain and the Shazam family as they face off against the gods. And a devastating betrayal awaits you in this issue. So I don't know who's that going to be. But yeah, just one of my favorites from DC right now. And just we had to spotlight. This is just the A cover, but Dan Mora can do no wrong. And we just wanted to show it off.
I like seeing Billy on there as well.
Yeah.
Really cool. Okay, next up we have graphic novels and more. We got graphic novels, we got other printing, so let's get into these. Starting with All Star Comics number 3 Facsimile Edition. You don't need me to go over what a facsimile is. It's got all the original ads, all the original everything. But I love some of the ones they're covering now. So this is All Star Comics number 3, which is the first meeting of the Justice Society of America. This cover has been homaged tons of times. DC's really pushing our golden age characters
Hmm.
now, which I think is awesome. And like all of them, you're going to get you've got a regular version of it. You're going to get a sketch version and a foil version. I feel like some of these are going to look really good in that foil. So we've got this one, and we have Wonder Woman number 1. But that's not just any Wonder Woman number 1. This is Wonder Woman from 1942. It's her first ongoing series since her first appearance in Sensational Comics. So super cool here. Same with this one. You get the regular cover, you get the sketch cover, and you can get the foil cover. And I would really hope, the Batman one where it still had the city, but they took away Batman and Robin swinging
Yeah.
on the cover. I hope this one's just the table, but with no one sitting around it. You can get an artist to draw a lot
Yeah.
of characters.
Oh, that would be cool, like a cool jam piece to take to
Yeah.
conventions and get different artists to do different
This is
characters.
just a horse.
Just a horse.
Just a horse.
And then next we have a new printing of the trade paperback for Secret Wars 2 from back, I believe it was 85 or 86. This just collects Secret Wars 2 numbers 1 through 9. And it's going to be $34.99. I'm super excited for this. I have the original issues, but I've never had them collected before.
Yeah.
It's been collected, but it's been a long time. So brand new printing of that collection.
This is a very famous and infamous
Infamous, yeah.
miniseries, but never forget that Spider-Man teaches the Beyonder how to use the bathroom.
That's right.
And that is just all you need to know about this.
The Beyonder wears like disco type, like John
Yeah.
Travolta Saturday Night Fever type stuff. It's great.
Yeah, everyone should read it. It's required reading. Secret Wars.
Absolutely.
And that is it for Comics from the Future. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head over to infinityflux.net. Right now, you can pre-order these books, pre-order the variants, pre-order everything. You can
Pre-order every single book that's on the
Yes,
website.
you can pre-order this issue covered by me, Fear the Fun House, Toy Box of Terror. A fun Archie book with Sabrina toy on the cover. A lot of fun hidden Easter eggs on that cover. So much fun stuff. Make sure to join us on Monday, where we'll be going over some of the new books coming out that week, so we can tell you what maybe you should go and pick up, maybe stuff you didn't hear about, get you better prepared to storm your comic book store and politely get your comics. So again, thank you so much for watching, and until next time,
See ya.
bye.